Hello all my Kinvians and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Game of Thrones. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the first season and things are tensing up quite a bit, so I decided to have myself a drink to go along with this one. Hope you all don't mind. And for those of you that are under 21, this is a root beer. I swear, totally a root beer. And those of you 21 and over, drink responsibly. But we're going to get into, I believe it's pronounced Baelor? Bueller? Anyway, we're going to get into this episode and see what's going to happen to the Starks and basically all of the land. I'm going to be cutting this part out of the main portion of this, or, well, actually, no. Anyway, I might include just a small bit of this, since I'm talking over the music, and it probably won't count as copyright, maybe. But, if you're ever in Wisconsin and you are of drinking age, see if you can find New Glarus Brewing Company's Fat Squirrel. It is quite delicious indeed. And that's all I'm going to say. Those of you under 21, this is root beer. Utterly without mercy.
The throne is his by rights.
Yes, but Ned, take into consideration situation.
My men who crippled my soul.
I want you to serve the realm.
For he also serves the realm.
Confess your vile treason. Tell your... What do you want?
Wait a minute.
It is a great pleasure to see you again after so many years, my lord.
Oh, spare me. Your boy is too proud to come before me himself. What am I supposed to do with you?
I cannot think of the character's name, but...
Lady Stark?
Who asked you? You're not Lord Frey yet, not until I die. Do I look dead to you? Father, please.
He played the man that was the first Doctor in that biopic I watched, but he was also the custodian of Hogwarts. He was very grumpy.
Is there somewhere we can talk?
We're talking right now. Fine. Out. Order.
Yep, that's... It's still the custodian. Oh my god.
You too. And the honey's all mine.
Ew!
She will give you many sons.
Your father didn't come to the wedding.
He is quite ill.
Son Jorah. Brought dishonor to our house, but he had the grace to leave the sword before he fled from West.
Oh, he's Jorah's father!
I know what you wanted me, but I can't.
Sir Jorah Mormont.
And you will.
Why did I not make that connection before?
Standing here if it wasn't for you and your being.
He has a number he thinks will be suitable.
I see.
Hmm.
Did you get a look at his daughters? And
One was... Do you consent?
can I refuse?
Father was Micah. First of his name. My brother Aemon reigned after him. When I had refused the throne, and he was followed by his son Aerys, whom they called the Mad King.
Aemon Targaryen.
Holy crap.
I'm the Maester of the Citadel, bound in service to Castle Black and the Night's Watch.
The great hairy one insisted he must have 2 battle axes. Heavy black steel, double-sided.
Shagalax axes. My son commences you and your.
Hi.
Where did you find one so pretty at this hour?
I took her.
Okay. From whom?
From, Sir... What's his name? I don't know. Ginger Con, 3 tenths down.
Have anything to say about it?
He said something.
I love Braun. I hope he doesn't die. He probably will.
Can talk about our mothers.
What sort of accent is that?
Foreign.
Sassy.
What do I want?
10 miles away from here by now on the way to Ashai. You would have been safe.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that guy's gonna die. Either that or Ser Jorah's gonna die. Kind of looked like Ryan Reynolds there for a second. Ooh. Oh, the armor definitely helps. Oh, fatality. Yep, wearing the armor was definitely a good idea. The sounds of a demon are not, oh boy. This is not going to end well.
I don't want to play.
It's fun. Look at the fun we're having.
We're having lots of fun.
Your mother was
That's rude.
There was a hole, you see. Jaime had arranged the whole thing. With the Reapers. One of it. Thought it was time I had a woman. And after my mother confessed, she had so much silver that the coins were slipping through her fingers and rolling onto the floor. I would have killed the man who did that to me.
Yeah.
You should have known she was a whore.
Really? I was 16, drunk and in love.
A girl who was almost raped doesn't invite another man into her bed 2 hours later.
That's a really good point. That is a really good point.
Oh no.
He always knows. It has been interesting seeing Tyrion in like this state of not being in control
Stay
lately.
low. Say hello. If you look me, no one will notice you.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, I'm pretty sure that was just a knockout and not a kill hit. Oh.
The scouts were wrong. There were 2,000 Stark bannermen, not 20.
Did we get the Stark boy at least?
He wasn't here.
Where was he?
Oh, I was right.
18,000 men.
I was right. Oh, I was right. I think I was right. Oh, they've already been in a fight. Oh, if they attack Jaime and his troops, then I was right. Oh, holy crap, they took Jaime hostage.
It's already happened.
Arya. Oh.
How about a nice fat pigeon?
Oh, piss off now, go on.
Do you have any stale ones from yesterday? Or any burnt ones?
Piss off.
Very rude.
My mother wishes me to let Lord Eddard join the Night's Watch. Stripped of all titles and powers, he would serve the realm in permanent exile.
and my lady Sansa has begged mercy for her father. But they have the soft hearts of women. So long as I am your king, treason shall never go unpunished. Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
Oh, you little bastard.
Don't look! Shut your mouth! Look at me!
Is that Ned's sword? I am so pissed off at Joffrey right now. Oh my god, okay. Okay. Oh my god, I am so pissed off at Joffrey right now. Okay, I'm gonna take some time to, as usual, gather my thoughts and process all this and get the rest of my notes down, and I will see you all next for the review portion of this video. Alright, all my convenience, welcome back to the review portion of Discovering Game of Thrones, and well, I've cooled down some from the end of that episode. Look, I have so many thoughts on this one, but as always, let's get into my favorite parts of the episode. Starting with really the first scene where Varys visits Ned, like, I guess basically one last time. It was a really interesting discussion they had, and it was a good expansion of what they discussed previously when Varys had visited him before. And actually, Ned had Ned had a really good line in that scene, talking about how Varys had acted, Varys had, I guess, grown up sort of, or had spent part of his life among actors. It's like Varys said, he is a very good actor, which, again, yes, the character is very creepy, but the guy's a really good actor, so that was sort of an unintentional fourth wall break for that guy, I guess. But it also, Ned says that he grew up with soldiers, and basically adding up to, I learned how to die a long time ago. And that was, I mean, I assumed it was going to happen in either this episode or the next one. Obviously it happened in this one, but that was definite foreshadowing to what was going to happen to Ned, thanks to Joffrey. I'll get into that later. But my next favorite part of the episode was when Cat meets with Walder Frey. And mostly because of the fact that Walder Frey is played by David Bradley, also, or AKA, he played, the man who played the first Doctor in An Adventure in Space and Time, the biopic of how Doctor Who came about. But also, and more famously, most likely for most people, is that he was the grumpy janitor or custodian from the Harry Potter movies, Mr. Filch. And through the whole scene, he was basically playing Walder Frey from my perspective, as if Filch, after leaving Hogwarts, became a lord, because his mannerisms were very familiar. He was just as grumpy. He did talk more, admittedly, as Walder Frey, but maybe that's just because he didn't want to talk around the kids. I don't know. But yeah, that whole scene was really interesting, except for one part that, well, screw it, it's like going out of order anyway, but my definite, WTF moment of the episode, you would think it would be Ned, getting beheaded, but no, it's friggin' Walder Frey's wife, I guess? She's 15? Whoa, just... taking this into a medieval setting, okay, sure, there was a history of young wives back then, but dear God, just the way he referred to her was just so pedophilic. Oh, it made me sick. It was just a horrid thing. So yeah, that's my WTF moment of the episode for sure. But moving on from there to other things. My next favorite part of this episode was when, and I looked up the names, Jorah Mormont gave Jon Snow his father's sword. Or, well, I guess it was basically a sword that had been passed down through generations. And he had it changed from, I guess it was originally a bear, but he had the pommel, I believe is what he called it. He had the pommel changed to a wolf, in honor of Jon Snow and his beast. Well, that and the Starks in general. But, and it was named, I don't know if it was renamed this, or if it's always been called this, but the name Longclaw. I just think that's such a cool name for a sword. So I really like that part. But also, one of the reasons why I like this scene so much is that I guess I just never made the connection, but Jorah Mormont is Ser Jorah Mormont's father. Again, I don't know how I didn't make that connection before, but yeah. So, that connection being brought about, and that's not the only reveal that took me completely by surprise in this episode either, but that was a great portion of this episode. I also like the fact that Mormont identified the fact that there's clearly an issue between Jon and Alliser, but he basically sent Alliser off to make sure there is a large distance between the two of them. So the guy is clearly, at least at this point, I'll refer to him as a good guy in this sense, because as I've learned from a lot of people in the show, just because you perceive someone as a good guy doesn't mean they are. This is definitely a show that deals in shades of gray. So, yeah. But anyway, moving on from that. My next favorite part of the episode is it's when Kat comes back from her meeting with Walder Frey and tells them that they're going to be able to cross, but then also tells them some of Frey's demands, which includes making one of his sons a squire to soon become a knight. Okay, cool, whatever. I assume he's going to be a character going forward eventually. I was going to say Eris. That's wrong. Arya will have to marry one of his sons when they both come of age, and like Robb, she's not going to like that if that ever happens. She wouldn't like the idea of it anyway. But, and then also, and the funniest part of it is that Robb has to consent to marrying one of Walder Frey's daughters. And just the way that Kat talked about that several of them are suitable, And then Robb asks if she saw any of them. She's like, yes, one was... And I can only assume that word was meant to... what she was going to say in the end was, one was not entirely ugly. So, yeah, it was just a glorious segment of the episode. One of the funniest by far. Which, again, with this, I mean, this episode has so many dark spots that was just a really good, much needed funny point in the episode too. So I really appreciated that. Oh, the next part that I really liked is actually the other part that completely took me by surprise. But it's when Maester, I think it's Maester, or is it Master? I think it's Maester Aemon calls Jon Snow to have a talk with him because Sam told Aemon about, I assume the way Jon reacted. And tells him about how a choice, like Jon has to make a choice. Because Jon's loyalty or Jon's honor was being challenged at that time, just as Maester Aemon's honor had been challenged years before. And then it's revealed who he is. And I didn't see it coming at all. But Maester Aemon is Aemon Targaryen, the uncle of the Mad King. Which I guess makes him the great uncle of Dany and the late Viserys. I didn't see that coming at all, especially from that particular character, and that was such a well done scene too. Like, I didn't write down the actor's name, but the guy that plays Aemon, or however his name is pronounced, did such a good job in that scene. Just such an amazing job. So yeah, huge thumbs up with that scene. And again, just another point of this episode that completely took me by surprise. Now, my next favorite part of the episode, this is definitely one of those that it kind of pains me to call it a favorite part, but it's definitely an important part of this episode that I took notice of. And that's when we see that Drogo has definitely fallen ill, or to be more precise, his wound has festered and become infected, and clearly it's going to kill him. Part of me thought that maybe I don't remember her actual name, but the one that everyone refers to as the witch. I thought that maybe she had messed with the wound or hadn't cleaned it properly, but I mean, seemingly it seems like she is actually doing her best to try and save him, including leading up to doing her best to meet Dany's demands, which involves blood magic, which is something I didn't know was part of this show. But also having to do with that, I mean, we find out something that isn't really surprising in the long run, but I guess at the same time it was kind of a mild surprise. But even when Drogo dies, I mean, she will still be the Khaleesi at that time. She will still be their queen. However, apparently the way the Dothraki determine their new leader is much like during that wedding scene. They will fight and, I assume, kill each other until there is one true victor, and he will be the new Khal. So Daenerys, once Drogo dies, Daenerys really has no safety beyond anyone that is firmly loyal to her, including Ser Jorah. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens in the next episode for sure regarding that. But moving on from there, my next favorite part of this episode, and I'm just going to keep this really simple, Shae. The woman that Bronn finds for Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion, almost forgot his name for a second. But I like her a lot. She's very sassy, she's very smart. I like her a lot, and I hope she sticks around for a while longer, for sure. But moving on from her, my next favorite part of the episode is it's basically sort of an extension of what was happening with Drogo and Daenerys, but I think his name is Qotho. But basically the Dothraki guy who was really angry and kept calling Drogo blood of my blood, but is clearly very angry and hates the witch lady and hates Daenerys and refuses to take orders from a woman and all that. Yeah, he gets killed by Ser Jorah. Ser Jorah cuts his neck open, shall we say. But that fight scene was really intense. I mean, and fact is, had Ser Jorah not put his armor on, he'd be dead. He would have been disemboweled during that fight, because really he got his death blow in when Qotho struck him, but his sword got stuck on a piece of Jorah's armor. So yeah, that was definitely an intense battle. And I mean, everything that happens after then, it's like apparently the midwives think Daenerys is cursed now because she has brought this witch into their midst, and the horrifying demonic noises coming from out of the tent. That would legitimately scare me. I will have to say, it's like if I heard those noises coming from a tent, I would be terrified. Without a doubt. But yeah, just like, I really want to see what happens next with Daenerys and find out what happens with Drogo. See if he is actually like revived in some sense. I don't know. It doesn't look good, but I guess I'll find out. But my next favorite part of this episode is it revolves all around the truth game, I guess, or the game where Tyrion uses his excellent judge of character, or he is an excellent judge of character, and he plays with Bronn. That leads to some pretty funny moments, admittedly. Tyrion and Bronn, TV show with them, or even just a single episode dedicated to them traveling together, going on wacky adventures, I would watch the crap out of that. But that aside, so he plays it with Bronn. It's funny, back and forth. Shae says that she really doesn't want to play, but Tyrion gets her to give in, and Tyrion keeps getting it wrong. Either that, or she is really good at lying. And I would actually probably say that's the latter. He probably was completely wrong, but no matter what he said, I think that she would have kept stone-faced, honestly. This is one of the reasons why I want her to stick around for a while. She seems really smart and really badass. So, yeah, there was that. But then we get to the point where Tyrion tells the story of his wife. And oh my god. I guess you could call this the third most surprising part of the episode that I didn't see coming. Because let's face it, when you say Tyrion's wife, that wife is in big asterisks. Or big quotations. But, yeah, just the story of everything that happens, meets Tysha, thinking that she had been attacked, almost raped. And he fought again. He's 16 at the time, and as he says afterwards, like, very young and stupid and drunk. But find out Jaime had arranged the entire thing. That she was a whore, that he paid, the attackers were not real, that all of that had been set up because Jaime thought it was time for his brother to get laid. And then unless I heard wrong, after that, Tywin, his father, gives the whore to the other soldiers, which, I mean, that by itself, fine, whatever. But he makes Tyrion watch? He made Tyrion watch the entire thing. That's just... I mean, Bronn said it himself. It's like, I would kill a man that did that to me. And yeah! That is royally, pun intended but not intended, but royally messed up. So yeah, that was probably the most, one of the most impactful scenes of this entire episode. So yeah, that was intense. And then going right off of that, my next favorite part of the episode was when Tyrion, it's like he gets all the savages or the tribesmen, he gets them all riled up, and as they're going off to fight, they start knocking him around and he can't really move, and then he gets knocked out by one of their hammers. It was just, it was hilarious and sad at the same time, but he did lay low, which was another one of my quotes for this episode from Bronn, which was simply, lay low. Or, he told Tyrion to lay low, and Tyrion's like, lay low? Because he's short. So yeah, that was, I couldn't help myself with that one. It was unavoidable. But moving on from there was a moment that other than the screams, the agonized screams of the defeated men being torn apart by the tribesmen, but the fact that I was right about Robb's plan, my theory from the previous episode, that he was going to trick them into thinking that he was going to head straight south and meet Tywin and his army head first. But I was originally thinking that maybe they just wouldn't do that, but the fact that they did send a smaller troop makes more sense. I mean, it sucked for those guys, admittedly, but it made sense. And then we find out that, I mean, it was unfortunate that we didn't actually get to see the battle. I would have liked to see that, but Robb and his larger army went and attacked Jaime's troop, and they captured Jaime Lannister. I am so happy that I got that right. I don't know why I'm so giddy about it exactly, but I love the fact that I actually got that right. I mean, maybe it was maybe it was just super obvious based on like how the scene played out that I sort of guessed that off of, but still, it's just like I was so happy that I was right about that. So yes, thumbs up for me, and thumbs up for that scene. But moving on from there and getting basically right at the end of the episode is, one, I was happy to see Arya, after we only saw her for like the very beginning of the last episode, and then we only saw her for the very end of this episode, but knowing that she's okay relatively, I'm happy about. But it's when everyone goes to the Sept of Baelor, and it's where Ned is brought to confess his treason. And it seems like a good deal. Like Varys told Ned, it's like the queen knows that having a tame wolf is better than a dead one. But clearly, Joffrey had different ideas. Because giving mercy, those are the words of the soft heart of a woman. So instead, Ned gets his head cut off. Now, with that particular point of the episode, I can't imagine what it must have been like watching the show for the first time and seeing that scene and seeing it happen. It was probably a mix of, well, Sean Beaton died again, but also just shock. And it's different for me because, I mean, let's face it, I'm so far behind on the show, for me to not know that Ned dies, I couldn't be on the internet at all, basically. Like, there's no way I could be on the internet for the past 6 years and not have known that Ned dies. But, so, rather than just the pure shock of Ned being executed and that scene, I just feel rage at Joffrey. I knew people didn't like him. Like, I've seen memes about the kid. I knew he was well hated by the fandom. I know he is hated by most people in general. He's basically Donald Trump politics. But, just, I hate Joffrey on a level higher than Viserys. Whatever his name is, I don't care. Oh, I hope that little shit dies. I truly hope he does. Because the longer he stays around in the show, and who knows, maybe he'll have some redeeming moments. Maybe there'll be moments of humanity placed upon him. I'm not gonna care. I'll care as much as I did for Viserys when he had his little moments of humanity peek through. But no, screw that kid. I hate him. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so those are my favorite parts of the episode. You wouldn't know it, considering how angry I am at the end there, but moving into annoyances, I've got none. I don't have any annoyances for this episode. This was really well done. Really well done. I would say probably the only thing I would consider an annoyance is Joffrey's existence. Yeah, let's just go with that. Oh, and the old guy. That I just don't like him. I don't like him. He's annoying. He's less annoying in this episode than the previous one, thankfully. But still annoying. And he needs to die. But not as much as Joffrey. But, okay, moving on from there. As always, if you all have any of your own favorites or some annoyances that you want to voice, please let me know what they are, and let me know in the comments down below. Now, moving on, I do have a question regarding this episode, and it's at the very end. When Ned is being led through the crowd, he says, Baelor, to a guy, indicating the statue, and that's where Arya was. But who is that guy? Who is that guy with Arya at the end of the episode? Because I thought all of the Stark soldiers were dead. Not even just the soldiers. I thought all of the Stark people, save Sansa and Arya, were dead. And maybe the lady, of course, I'm kind of assuming she's dead too. And by the lady, I mean, brain work. Basically the girl's caretaker for a while. But, yeah, I don't know who he is exactly. Is he like the one remaining alive person from the north? I don't know. But Yeah, I'm really curious about that. So, actually, you know what? Unless it, for some reason, is a major spoiler, if you want to let me know who that is, feel free to let me know. But again, if it's a major spoiler for some reason, hold off on it, and I'll wait until it's revealed later in the show. Track of the episode, I mean, I didn't have anything in particular. With this show, it's so hard to pick, like, one, because all of the music is so good. It is cinematic. It is masterfully made. So yeah, I mean, track of the episode, take your pick. Or let me know maybe what you think the track of the episode is. Now, as for quotes of the episode, I already hit on a few of them, including Ned's line, "I learned how to die a long time ago," and when Bronn is telling Tyrion to stay low, so maybe he won't get noticed. But a few more I do have. One comes from Maester Aemon, and it's, I mean, really his entire dialogue with Jon Snow in that scene could be the quote of the episode, but for some reason, like, this part in particular really caught my eye, or my ear, or eye, whatever. "What is honor compared to a woman's love? What is duty against the feel of a newborn son in your arms, or a brother's smile?" Just that, like, the first two sentences or questions are very insightful, and it's leading up to what all else he's going to be talking about in there. But then he adds in that poke there, or a brother's smile, referring directly to Jon's brother Robb. So yeah, that was such a good scene. It really, really was. And that brings me to my final quote of the episode, and it is the most simple one possible, and I absolutely love it. "Shagga likes axes, as said by Tyrion." It was just great. Shagga likes axes. It's like a one-liner. It's like Tyrion could be the one-liner king of this show, and basically kind of is. But yeah, that was a really good one. I liked it a lot. Now, as for a theory of the episode going forward, I mean, at this point, I don't know what's going to happen exactly, because, I mean, it's the finale of the season, and I feel like, I don't know, I almost feel like making any big guesses would almost cheapen it a bit. Because I want to go into this final episode of the first season just on a blank slate. Because again, like, the big thing that I did know about this first season was the fact that Ned dies. So now that that's happened, and there's still another episode in the season, yeah, I'm going in spoiler free. I'm going to see what happens, and see what happens. But okay, oh, and I already mentioned the WTF of the episode, the Walder and his 15-year-old wife. Ugh. So creepy. But anyway, overall thoughts of this episode, it was really good. I mean, you know, I hate to jinx it, but these episodes really are getting better and better as it goes along. Better and better, and more just gut-wrenching, and poor Sean Bean. He couldn't even make it an entire season. But yeah, it was a good episode. It was really, really good, and I hope the next episode can live up to it. I'm sure it probably will, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And speaking of the next episode, next time on Discovering Game of Thrones, we will be getting into Fire and Blood. Which I assume means there's going to be a lot of fire, because fighting and destruction and flamed arrows and stuff, and blood, because a lot of people are going to die. I really kind of ruined that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. But okay, until next time, everyone, for Fire and Blood, I am Papa Ken, and I will see you for the next episode.